Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel.
So besides being a mom and of two wonderful boys, Chica and Luta, I have a store, an African and Caribbean food market. It's in downtown Oakland. The store has been in operation since 1998. We have food from all over Africa, but mostly West Africa. Things like plantains and yams and grains and rice and beans and various kinds of foods. And we cater to maybe a multicultural group of people from all over, and especially from Africa and many parts of the US and the islands come to our store. I became an author recently. I titled the book The Reconstruction and Transformation of QueenKay for a few reasons. One of them being I think as a young child I went through a lot, and I didn't quite see it as such because my life has always been let's just kind of roll with it. But I had a tragedy a few years ago that gave me some time to think about things, and it dawned on me that I was basically deconstructed in a sense. Like I have a big gaping hole. My husband, the father of my boys, who was the love of my life, he passed away to cancer. And I realized that he basically was my world. And I needed to find out who I was, and what am I supposed to do besides being a mom and just going through the mundane task of, everyday life. And I didn't want to live like that anymore under the, how do you say, the shadow of somebody else. Who am I, and what happened to KK? I had a life before, and in going through the process, I found myself building back up. And in a sense, like, when a building falls apart, you need to reconstruct it. So I found myself under construction, and in the process, I started transforming into I think I'm not done yet. The process of life is continuous, but I think it's been an amazing journey, as difficult as it was to go through that experience and the experiences that I had before that. It was important to go through the pain. I guess one of the main motivations of writing the book was when my husband passed away. And it's not just someone passing away, it's watching someone you love, suddenly get a death diagnosis. And then they go through the whole process of cancer, chemo, and you have your faith, and you're praying, and you're doing all you can do, and you're standing by their side, and then you suddenly start to realize that the seconds are ticking away, and then he dies while you're holding his arm. You stay there, and when it happened to me, I couldn't breathe. I just stayed there, and I wanted to find out, why was I even alive? What am I supposed to do? It took me a few minutes to kind of come to my senses, to realize, oh yeah, I have my boys. I should, no one's gonna be able to do what I can do for them. And so that kind of helped me the first few months, because I really was a zombie. And during that whole period, and even until recently, I started examining what life was before him, and what also happened to me as a young child and young adult. I had experienced child abuse and domestic violence at a very young age, which no child should have to experience. And coming from where I'm from, it's not something that people talk about, I'm from Nigeria, and everything is all, kind of stiff. You don't really talk about things like that. So to me, the process of healing and dealing with the loss and all the things I had experienced, I started to think about other people that might be going through or have gone through what I went through in their own ways. So life is very short, and people really need to take the time to get to know themselves first and take the time to learn to love themselves so that they can be able to give back and give more to other people. So I personally think that I know that it will make a big difference in the lives of all that read it. It'll give you hope when you're down. It'll probably make you laugh because I have some interesting things that only happen to me. But I think it'll give a lot of hope. And maybe somebody could get up from that bed and say, I'll live. I choose to live.